In this video, I became the deadliest Minecraft player. For those of you who don't know, Boosfer is a popular Minecraft YouTuber with over 500,000 subscribers. And last week, he hosted an event to determine the deadliest Minecraft player, and I managed to win. This whole thing was super intense, and trust me, you are gonna wanna watch my point of view of this challenge. Without further ado, this is how I became the deadliest Minecraft player. I saw that Boosfer was live streaming a PvP event on his Twitch, and the winners of those PvP events will get to participate in another event sometime in the near future. Now look, I'm actually pretty good at PvP. Despite what some people may tell you, I'm actually decent. So I knew that I had a decent shot at winning this. Of course, things went horribly wrong. Fortunately for me, Boosfer said that this was going to be the last PvP event he was hosting ever, and because it was the last PvP event, he was going to unban every single person who had died, making it the largest game yet. And I only had one chance to make it work. I only had one chance to win. As soon as we were teleported to the arena, I jumped off the glass platform. Though, as I expected, the server was experiencing major lag, to the point where it couldn't even load 2 chunks. Because of this, players were dying left, right, and center. Luckily for me, the chunk started to load, and I was able to keep my distance from the other players. Since this kit was a no armor kit, there was very little room for mistakes, so I knew that if I wanted to win this game, I had to either kill players while their back was turned to me, or third party. Either way, I had to know that I would win the fight. And that's exactly what I did. Before I knew it, there was only one player left that I had to kill, and luckily for me, he glitched out of the game, so I managed to win. Now, it was just 11 other players standing in my way of victory. I knew that the other players I was going against were going to be very good at PvP, so I trained every single day leading up to the final event. I was doing well in Axe, fairly well in Sword, and, well, let's hope I don't need to be good at UHC. I was feeling confident for the event. I was ready. Wait, what do you mean there's a top 10 Axe player in the event? Oh, for fun. Anyways, let's do this. A few hours before the event, I kept note of a few players that I should stay away from. The first was Swayshi. Swayshi is one of the best Axe PvPers in the world, and he was invited by Boosfer due to a few participants not being able to go. He also trained Dream in the past. Yes, the Dream. If I had to fight him in a 1v1, I would likely lose. The second player was Asmox. Asmox is very active in the PvP community, and he has over 17,000 wins on PvP Legacy, which is one of the most popular servers in Minecraft for 1.9 PvP. With that out of the way, I was finally ready for the event. When I first joined the server, all the participants were put in a gold block box. Soon after, Boosfer announced that the first challenge would be a Hunger Games style challenge, except we had to gather weapons from the resources found in the arena. In this game mode, our only goal was to kill a player to move on to the next round. Finally, we were teleported to the arena and put in glass cages while we waited to be released. Eventually, the game started and I ran up the mountain until I saw a tree. I wanted to make a weapon as fast as possible, so I made a wooden sword, which I soon regretted. Another participant started to chase after me with a wooden axe, and me not being confident that I could combo him, I ran around the entire arena. I then saw that the player who was chasing me was getting into a fight with someone else, so I went to third party the fight. Thankfully, I was able to kill someone in the fight and I moved on to the next round. So that's it, right? I move on to the second round? Well, let's rewind. You see, when I killed Wope, he killed someone right before I did, so a few moments before I killed him, he had already made it to the second round. Both Boosfer and Fred told me I had to rejoin, and I found myself in a 1v1 situation, with me and just one other player. Of course this is how it ends, bro. Yeah, I was not happy. Unfortunately, the other player had a stone axe, and I only had a wooden sword, so I knew that if I wanted to even have a small chance at winning, I would have to strike first. I started to run from him to try and better prepare myself, though the border was closing in at a rapid rate. All hope seemed lost, and my only chance of winning being to attack first, I went in for the kill. I'm just gonna let this clip speak for itself. Yes! To be honest, I didn't even know I had that in me. Anyways, after the first event, 6 people got eliminated, meaning there were 6 players left. Yeah, even Swayshi got eliminated. When I watched it back, they were actually the first person to die. So that's something. Anyways, let's move on to the second round. The second round was best out of 3 1v1s. I was paired up against Simple Cookie, Asmox was paired up against Hazlaz, and Wope was paired up against Real Rion. Unfortunately for me, I and Simple Cookie were the first pair to duel, and I still needed a couple moments to calm down from the last game. Anyways, as soon as I got teleported, I noticed that the kit was very weird, and I took a couple moments to figure out how I wanted to play it. Then, Simple Cookie started to charge at me. This is it. If I were to win this duel, I would be at a major advantage, as I would only need to win 1 more, and Simple Cookie needed to win 2 in a row. Let's do this. And PvP is off. Okay, now that PvP was finally enabled, me and Simple Cookie started to fight. It was a very close match, and me and Simple Cookie were trading every hit. Thankfully, I was able to pull through and win the first duel. Say it with me, not even close. Now the score was 1-0 in my favor. Eventually, we got teleported to the second duel, and unfortunately, it was underwater, a type of PvP I have never practiced before. It wasn't too hard to learn though, as there was only one weapon, a trident with Riptide and Sharpness. I realized pretty early on that I would win the fight, and I ended up surviving with 3.5 hearts. That put me up 2-0 and guaranteed me a spot in the final event. The second duel was won 2-1 by Wope, and the third duel was surprisingly won by Hazlaz, who managed to defeat Asmox 2-1. Now, only 3 players remain. So what do you think the final event was? Come on, take a guess. Was it UHC? Free-for-all axe PvP? Could it even have been a type of sword fight? Do you have your guess? Well, if you said Hypixel Bedwars, then you'd be 100% correct. I was actually pretty thrilled that the final event was 1.8 PvP, because Hazlaz had basically never played Hypixel a day in his life, and I felt that I had a slight edge over Wope in 1.8 PvP. However, this is Bedwars, and even the weakest players can win, so I knew I had to play more cautiously than I ever had before if I wanted to win. This is it, the final game, and I knew I could do this. I could win. When the game started, I noticed that Wope's base was pretty close to me, so I bridged to the base beside me instead of going straight to the middle, so he didn't have a direct path to my base. I then noticed that Wope was trying to go to my base, so I ran back as fast as I could, and that seemed to scare him off for the time being. I knew that Wope would be my hardest opponent this game, so I figured it would be a good idea to try and eliminate him early on. So I bought TNT and I headed to his base. Also, can we just appreciate that clean movement? Oh my god, I'm amazing. Anyways, when I got there, I started to tower up so I could easily place my TNT, and luckily after it blew up, it exposed his bed. Fortunately, I was able to jump down and break his bed, though I couldn't quite kill him. Of course, I went back to try and officially eliminate him from the game, and I got a nice combo on him, and I knew that I would win this fight. However, during the fight, Hazlaz drank an Invis pot and broke my bed, and after I saw the message that my bed was destroyed, I started playing really nervously, and I let Wope get a 2-hit combo on me. Thankfully, I was still able to kill Wope as he was 1-tap, and that just left me and Hazlaz in the game. Now there was one major problem. Hazlaz had a bed. I didn't. In Bedwars, when I don't have a bed and my opponent does, I typically try and get more stack than my opponent, as well as an Invis pot to make breaking their bed much easier. So that's what I did. I got a sharp 1 iron sword, and I also put Prot on my iron armor. As I was running to mid to get emeralds for an Invis potion, I saw Hazlaz come up and try to fight me. That's nothing a fireball can't solve. Anyways, I got some emeralds, bought an Invis pot, and headed to his base. I carefully walked over and placed the TNT on his bed defense. All of a sudden, his trap activated, and I was hit with slowness and blindness. All Hazlaz had to do was try and see my footstep particles and hit me off any way he could, so I immediately turned around and headed back to the middle. The effects weared off shortly after, and when they did, I started bridging up high to try and place both my TNT without getting hit off. Everything seemed to be going well. I had the game in the bag. Then, this happened. That was way too close. Anyway, I'm done talking. I'm gonna let the rest of this clip play out for itself. I'm happy like a peach in a tree. There I am hanging around hoping there'd be someone like you to pick me. I'm happy, oh happy Lord. Yes! I'm happy like the tree in the breeze. There I am a-waving to you, hoping that you'd sit by me.
You got this.
How do you feel being the deadliest Minecraft player?
I already knew I was the deadliest Minecraft player, so I kind of feel the same. Yeah, gotta have the confidence.
I like that confidence.
Okay. So you knew you were gonna win from the start?
Yep, no doubts at all. Especially when Swayshi joined, like I further backed up my confidence.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah.
Jeez.
Okay.